In the Café Invoice assignment, the user is going to enter a string of characters representing what a party ordered at the cafe, and then extract that letter by letter from the string to create an itemized bill of each of the items ordered and a running total of the price, and then we're going to add a tax and calculate the total bill. Here's an example of a screenshot. So again, we're going to print some information to the user, including the letters that are being used. The user would enter a string. So here they entered BFG. So the B would be a cheeseburger, the F would be a side, and the G would be a fountain drink. And then we're going to generate an itemized list of what was ordered along with the prices, calculate the subtotal and the tax, and then the total bill, and then also give a message at the end of thank you for eating at the Simple Cafe, and the date and time according to our computer. It might be a party of multiple people, and so we're going to have many items on that list. So in some which are going to be repeated, like there's 4 F's here, there's 3 G's, and that should show up here as far as the four side dishes and the 3 fountain drinks, our subtotal, our tax, our total, and again the thank you and the time date. And here's the tips. So we're going to use a repetition loop to go through the string of characters, looking at each character in the string, and a nested if-elif based on what that character is. So for example here, one of the elifs is if that character, I in this case, is uppercase C, and I would make these case insensitive. Then we're going to add to invoice, which is a string variable containing a new line character, what was ordered, which was the hot dog, and the price $1.75. And then we're going to increment our subtotal variable by $1.75. After we've gone through that loop the whole time, then we want to calculate the tax at 8.3% and then add that to the subtotal for our total. So to add a string showing the date and time, you can Google Python date and time. You have to import date time to use the now property, and the suggested strf time method to format. You can look that up in Google. That's the assignment project. I would suggest at this point, pause the video here and try to do this on your own, wrestle with the code, spend some time, see if you make this work. And if you just can't get it, then come back and look at my solution, which follows. Here's my solution to the Café Invoice assignment. I'm going to import date time in order so we can print the date time at the end. And then printing out the information as far as what the project is, myself as the developer, what the program does, and I'm going to print out those different letters and what they refer to when taking an order. So an A is a hamburger, B is a cheeseburger, and so forth. I'm going to start by setting now as a variable to a datetime object. So it's datetime.datetime.now. That'll use this datetime class that we imported. And then I'm going to ask the user to enter a string of items, such as B, D, F, F, G, G, I, whatever the table is ordering, using these strings. And they can be in any order. They don't have to be necessarily in alphabetic order. And that's going to go into a variable called items. That's a string variable. I'm going to convert that to upper. And I could have done the dot upper here as well. I just did it as 2 lines. We're going to set subtotal equal to 0. And then invoice is going to equal a new line character, the word item. I put a bunch of spaces here, and the word price. That'll correspond to the spacing that I used on each of the items for the invoice. I'm going to go through each item in items, each character that I'm going to call I. For I in items, that'll go through one character at a time. And then a nested if-elif is simply comparing if that character is an uppercase A. We already made it all the characters uppercase. So if it's an uppercase A, we're going to add a new line and hamburger, the appropriate number of periods, and $3.25 to our invoice string. And then we'll add to the subtotal the price of the hamburger, $3.25. If that's not true, we'll check to see if it's a B. And if it's a B, we'll add cheeseburger and the price of $3.75. If that's not true, we'll try C, and so forth, all the way down through the list, looking at each of the different characters for the items that can be ordered. So hot dog, chicken sandwich, veggie sandwich, side dish, fountain drink, coffee, and dessert. it will go through all the items and create a running invoice for us, as well as an incremental subtotal. At the end, we then want to calculate the tax. So tax equals subtotal times 0.083, so 8.3%. The total is going to equal the subtotal plus the tax. And then we want to print out just a dashed line all the way across, so ending our itemized list, and then show what the subtotal is. And we're going to format this for 2 decimal places. We're going to show what the tax is and what the total is. Both of those are also formatted to 2 decimal places with 5 spaces in front. And then we're going to say, thank you for eating at the Simple Cafe. And here's where we get our time. We're going to add to invoice then as our final line, a new line character, placeholder 0, which is going to be our now variable. And it's going to be formatted to a method called strftime, string format time is what that stands for. And the string we're going to use here, what I used is a %y, it's going to be the year, %m, that's going to be the month, dash %d, that's going to be the day, and then a %h colon %m, uppercase h, uppercase m, will give me the hour and the minutes of the time clock. And then I'm going to print invoice. Let's watch this run. So let's say they order a hamburger, 2 cheeseburgers, and a hot dog. Let's do 4 sides, 3 fountain drinks, a coffee, and 2 desserts to be shared among the 4 people. And there is my itemized list. Hamburger, 2 cheeseburgers, hot dog, 4 side dishes, 3 fountain drinks, a coffee, 2 desserts. Subtotal is $29, tax is $241, gives me a total of $31.41. Thank you for eating Simple Cafe. And there's our date time stamp. If you just jumped into this video and haven't seen the prior videos to this, I invite you to check out my Python playlist of videos. And if you'd like to be alerted to future videos that I create, you can click my picture up in the top right and subscribe to the channel.